Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. In case you forgot, I am your host, Sunny Day. Last week, the Big Hollow News Network brought you a stunning piece of news reporting about the solar system. Since the solar system is so big, we had to break this newscast up into two sections. Last week, we made a stop on each of the four inner or terrestrial planets. The first planet we stopped on was crater-filled Mercury. Oh, I am happy to report that he only broke both his legs when he fell into that big crater last week. Isn't that fantastic? Then we made a stop at Venus, whose atmosphere makes it the hottest planet due to the greenhouse effect. Unfortunately, we could not find our reporter, Sweat. He was an okay reporter. Who cares? If we could have a moment of silence for him, though, that would probably be nice. Okay. Anyway, then we watched Mr Peyrot get attacked by humans on the only planet that supports life, Earth. Then we talked to Marv about skiing Olympus Mons on the red planet of Mars. It was a fun journey, but now it's time for the last part of our galactic trip. We are now moving to the outer planets, which all share many characteristics. The outer planets are also known as Jovian planets, and they are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. They're made up of mostly gas. They are sometimes referred to as the gas giants. I wonder if they're smelly. Get it? Because they're really gassy. Anyway, these Jovian planets are much larger than the inner planets, and they're a lot further apart. And because they're so much farther away, they take longer to revolve around the sun. Well, now that we have that background, let's move on to the interesting stuff. The first Jovian planet that we are stopping by is Jupiter. This planet is the largest planet in the solar system. It is more than twice as massive than all the other planets combined. Jupiter's familiar stripes and swirls are actually cold, windy clouds of ammonia and water, which are floating in an atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. You may notice, but Jupiter does have tiny rings, just like all the other Jovian planets. Some other interesting facts are, 1 day on Jupiter is only 9.39 hours, but it takes 11.86 Earth years for Jupiter to orbit around the sun. But the one thing that really stands out is the big red spot on Jupiter. For a closer look at that spot, let's go to my big brother, Stormy Day. Stormy, the transmission is a little spotty. How's it going?
Well, little sister, how do you think it's going? It's going awesome because I'm reporting from the storm. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Stormy Day. And I'm here with you above Jupiter looking at its storm. I guess, well, that's kind of weird. A guy named Storm reporting about a storm? Guess the networks people have, it must be a funny joke. But anyways, whatever. So ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at right behind me is the storm on Jupiter. This storm is huge. Like, you could fit like an Earth or two in it. It is 12,400 miles long. And it is 7,500 miles wide. It is gigantic, right? And interesting thing, it has been around for a very long time. Some people say, it was first discovered, like recorded in 1831, but some people think that it was earlier than that in 1665. Now, as you can see, the beautiful colors, and, well, it's not really, kind of, I mean, it's a giant storm. It's windy. Now, what's interesting, you don't want to go in the storm because you know how fast the winds are going? 425 miles an hour. Whoa! Gonna get blown away. Well, like I said, I kind of found out some interesting information that this storm behind me is actually shrinking. Over the decades, it's gotten smaller and smaller, so who knows? By the time you're my age, it could be gone. But we don't really know. Only time will tell. All right, well, it's me, Stormy Day, coming at you like a storm. Watch out for the lightning. Back to you, sister.
Well, that was great reporting, Stormy. Thank you. And don't forget to call Mom. Let's move on to our next planet. This planet is definitely not single because it has a ring on it. I know, that was a super funny joke. Of course, I'm talking about Saturn. This planet is the sixth planet from the sun, and like Jupiter, it is a massive ball made up of mostly hydrogen and helium. It's said that it may have a core that's made up of some type of metals, but we don't really know. I think that's pretty cool. Here's a fact that might make your head spin. If there was a bathtub big enough, Saturn would float because the density of Saturn is less than water. It's kind of like a rubber ducky. A rubber ducky floats on the water because its density is less than that of water. Same thing with Saturn. Now, the only problem is finding a bathtub big enough for Saturn to float in. That is just so crazy to me. If you spend a little time on the planet, you will notice that a day lasts 10.7 hours, but it takes about 29.5 Earth years for it to revolve around the sun. I wonder how old that would make me. Anywho, what makes Saturn stand out more than any other Jovian planet are those rings. For more information on them, let's go to our reporter in the field, Di Mond. Di, what are those rings like?
Sonny, well, these rings, they're beautiful. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Diamond here. We're in the orbit of Saturn, and I get the joy of showing you these beautiful rings. Now, Saturn's rings are thought to be pieces of comets, asteroids, or shattered moons that broke up before they reached the planet due to Saturn's powerful gravity. They're made up of billions of small chunks of ice and rock that are coated in a material such as dust, right? Few of these particles range from tiny dust particles to particles the size of houses. There are some particles that are either as large as mountains. Saturn's rings extend about 175,000 miles from the planet, yet the vertical height is only about 30 feet. So how tall they are? 30 feet, right? They're actually named alphabetically in the way that they were discovered, or I guess in the order that they were discovered. And they're relatively close together. So they're small, each ring small, except, if you look at my picture here, as you can see, there's the Cassini divide. This Cassini divide is between or separates the rings of A and B. And this is about 2,920 miles. The main rings, when we talk about main rings, well, the main rings are A, B, and C. Rings D, E, F, and G are fainter and more recently discovered. And like I said, if you want it, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Right? Back to you, Sonny.
Very funny, Di. You should have been a comedian. Let's head to our next stop on our Jovian adventure, shall we? This planet is the 7th planet in the solar system. I also think it's the prettiest, just because I love the color blue. Of course, I am talking about Uranus. This planet is super far out there. It takes 84 Earth years to revolve around the sun. And once again, the days on this planet are shorter than Earth's. A day on Uranus is only 17 hours and 14 minutes. It's so far away from the sun that it takes 2 hours and 40 minutes for sunlight to reach Uranus. About as much time as it takes us to take attendance in 7th period. It only takes about 8 minutes, though, for sunlight to reach Earth. That's more like it. For more impressive information, let's go to our man in the field, TP Swipe. TP, what's the scoop?
Well, Sonny, what's the scoop? Well, the scoop is me. I'm here to give you the scoop on Uranus. Well, Uranus is the only planet whose equator is nearly at a right angle to its orbit. The tilt is about 97.77 degrees and possibly the result of some collision with an Earth-like object long ago. This unique tilt causes the most extreme seasons in the solar system. If you think Illinois' winters are bad, wait till you hear this. Each year, for a quarter of each year on Uranus, when the sun is over each pole, the other half of the planet is plunged into a 21-year dark winter. Think of how depressing that would be. Another interesting fact is Uranus is also one of the 2 planets that rotate opposite directions of most of the other planets. So it goes the other way, just like Venus. So they rotate from east to west. East to west, kind of weird, is it? But great. We're caught on the dark side. Luckily, I have emergency light that kicked in. All right, back to you, Sonny.
Wow, TP, that really stinks. I hope it works out for you. We are now finishing up our voyage with a little stop at the 8th and final planet, Neptune. This planet is almost as pretty as Uranus, but it's a little bit smaller. Like Uranus, it gets its blue-colored atmosphere from its makeup of hydrogen and helium, and a bit of methane. It seems to be just a little bit bluer than Uranus. Did you know that Neptune is the farthest planet from the sun? That means it has the longest orbit. It takes 165 years for Neptune to orbit the sun. Though the years are long, the days are short. A day on Neptune is only 16 hours. It takes about 4 hours for sunlight to reach it. I'm getting tired of talking, so we're going to send it out to our reporter in the field. Zeus, it's all yours.
Thank you, Sonny. Life must be rough sitting behind a desk. Well, like she said, my name is Zeus. Like Zeus, the king of the gods, I'm here with my buddy, Neptune. Neptune, the planet. Now, we look at Neptune. Neptune is nice and that vivid color blue. Now, many of you think that maybe that blue might be due to the fact that there's water. But like Sonny told us before she fell asleep, that is actually because of the gases mixed in the atmosphere. Now, though the gases are mixed in the atmosphere give that blue, some scientists may say that there is a hidden ocean underneath that cloud. They don't know for sure, but it's not boiling or anything because of the pressure, so it's locked in there. Now, interesting fact, Neptune is actually one of the windiest planet in the solar system. Despite its distance from the sun, Neptune's winds can be 3 times stronger than those on Jupiter and 9 times stronger than those on Earth. These winds whip clouds of methane gas around the world at a speed of more than 1,200 miles per hour. Even the most powerful winds on Earth only reach about 250 miles an hour. Think about that. Now, as you can see in this picture up to my left, there is a dark spot. Now, in 1989, a large oval-shaped spot, which they dubbed Great Dark Spot, showed up in Neptune's southern hemisphere, right? It was big enough to contain one Earth, but that planet since has disappeared and new ones have appeared on different parts of the planet. So maybe one day we'll see a bunch of storms. But like I said, that's all I got. Back to you, Sunny. Hopefully she hasn't fallen asleep on her desk. Sunny, are you there, Sunny?
Wow, thank you, Zeus, for that stunning reporting. You should be a professional reporter. Well, that's all the time that we have for our show. Turns out we have a special update from my brother Stormy. Let's get right to him. Stormy?
Little sister, once again, a stormy day here with some breaking news. We are in the orbit of Jupiter, and we want to tell you about some of the moons that we have found here. These are known as the Galilean moons. These Galilean moons were discovered by a man named Galileo back in 1610. So, as you can see, our first Galilean moon is Ganymede. Now, Ganymede is the largest moon in the solar system. It is 8% larger than Mercury. Right? It is, as you can see, it's got pretty colors, very pretty colors, like blue, my sister's favorite color. But anyways, it looks pretty. It looks kind of almost like Earth-like, but it is known to have, or at least suspected to have, an underground ocean and also a magnetic field. So who knows? Maybe one day we can live on it. The second moon we have here is Io. It looks very deadly. Well, that's because it is. This innermost moon of Jupiter is the most driest and most geologically active object in their solar system. What does it mean to be geologically active? Well, that means there's a lot of volcanoes, which means there are a lot of explosions. Right? It is also the densest, in case you want to know. Moving on. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is Europa. Such a pretty name, Europa. This is actually the smallest of the Galilean moons, but it's also the smoothest. Yes, that's right, the smoothest. It is known to be the smoothest, has the smoothest surface of any object in the solar system. Wow. I wonder how it feels to be smooth. All the time, because I'm a smooth operator. Never mind. And the last one here, ladies and gentlemen, is Callisto. Yikes. It looks very dangerous. Well, that's because it is, right? It's heavily cratered, which means it's almost like Mercury, because it's almost as big. Maybe there's no atmosphere. I don't know. But the same hemisphere faces Jupiter. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for our breaking news. Right back to you, little sister. Sunny day.
And back to our show. Well, Stormy, thank you for telling us all about the famous moons of Jupiter. I love how you just focused on some of Jupiter's moons instead of the other 75. You also could have focused on Saturn and Saturn's 82 moons. Let's not forget about Uranus. Uranus has 27 moons. And heaven forbid you forget about Neptune and Neptune's 14 moons. You know what, Stormy? I don't understand why you're mom's favorite. Clearly, I'm better. Whatever. Anywho, I would like to thank you for joining us on our two-part special about the solar system. I am your host, Sunny Day, and I hope you learned something. Stay classy, universe.